Hi everybody, this is Julia from the Stitchergirl Podcast. Today's Flosstube is going to be all about what's been going on the last 2 weeks with my Stitchmaynia plans and changes. Yeah, things got a little derailed this past week, so yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think I got a little overwhelmed at some point, and I was like, oh my God, I'm starting all these things and they're amazing and I love these projects, and then I can't get back to them because I created this plan of attack for May, and then it's like, yeah, so things have changed in the last week. Things have changed. The first 2 weeks seemed to be really good. I was able to follow through on my plans, and then the third week I'm like, ugh, I'm a little tired of this. I'm a little exhausted. So yeah, so from May 11th to today, which is May the 24th, it's a Sunday, it's almost 7 o'clock. And yeah, so I thought I'd get in a floss tube before I went to work tonight. And as you can see, the children are milling about. That's Wellington back there. Cherub is here. And they have been nothing but incorrigible for the past week. They have been driving me insane. They don't seem to, oh, look at them, look at them, look at them. Oh my. This is Cherub, the gray one. And this is Welly. Anyways, they've been quite incorrigible lately, driving me insane. And I don't know if it's because it's spring and everybody's frisky or what, but they just seem to be getting into everything. This morning when I came home, we've got a new game. We got to play in the bathtub. So, and at one point, I said to Cherub, if you don't stop, I'm going to put you in your crate and I'm going to lock the door. And she walked in the crate. So I locked the door. This is the kind of thing that's driving me insane. They're jumping, they're climbing. It's like, this is not a jungle gym. But they think it is. Yes. Hi, Welly. What you doing, Welly? Yeah, I know. We're exploring all the Nutcracker themed glad bags because I've got a bazillion of all my Stitchmaynia in here. So I'm good. Work is good. As you might have heard, where I live in New Brunswick, I think we've only got one case right now of COVID, and that was after a good few weeks of not having any cases. So we are definitely one of the lucky places. And now things are starting to open up again. And we're entering phase 3, which means things like hair salons, spas, all that good stuff that people, getting the hair done. I'm telling you, I really need a pedicure. I got some serious hobbit-like feet thing going on down there, so yeah, I need to see I need to get in to see my esthetician sooner rather than later. I've been started going for physio again. That's opened up, and that's been great, and everybody's taking precautions and they're wearing their masks, which I really appreciate. And I wear my mask when I go out in public and I go grocery shopping, but I really just pretty much go grocery shopping and work, and now the physio, and that's about it. And for those of you that don't know, I'm a licensed practical nurse and I work in long-term care in a 200-bed facility. So we've been working really hard to keep COVID out of there. And so enough of that. So May 11th. May 11th was supposed to be the Tabby Cat Sampler, but I still haven't received threads that I wanted to use for that sampler. That was a pattern by the City Stitcher. And remember, it was like from 1989, or a really old one, but still good. So I was dying to do the Cross Stitch Nation by Heartstring Samplery, Beth Twist. And I wanted to really shake up the color palette. So I ordered from 123 Stitch some Jazz. Jazz Picture This Plus. And it's like a tealy, I think like DMC 927, 926, that color. And it's got purple splotches on it. And here's the pattern for those of you who are not familiar with this pattern. So I'm doing really like funky colors, Julia colors. And this is, I think it's 36 count. It is a linen. So the color is quite, what's the word? It's quite, if this was done on Lugana, the color it would be lighter. But this is what I've got done so far. Yeah, there you go. I've got one girl done. All my girls are going to have crowns because we are all queens. And I'm just playing with fancy floss, overdyed cottons. There might be the odd silk I'm going to throw in there. But this down here, this is a Gentle Arts. This is Butter Crunch. And it just, this is what I love about overdyeds. How you can see the fluctuation or the variegation in the color. Ooh. Yeah, right there. You can see the variegation in the color. And yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And so I just have a bag full of flosses and I'm just, you know, having fun with it. So that's what I did that day on May 11th. On May the 12th, I pulled out a WIP, Stitchy Noel by Patty Brake, of 4 boys and a Newfoundland girl. And this was an ornament she created, well, it came out in December. It had to do with Flossmas, but it also had to do with Carolyn and Off the Grid Needle Arts and her fundraiser for muscular dystrophy that took place that month. And I just realized I didn't have anything to hold it up to. But here we go. This is a finish. Ring that bell. So it had Joyeux Noel, and I changed out the Joyeux for Stitchy. And I just freestyled that alphabet right there. I had some sequins. So that tree is an actual sequin. And I used colonial knots to get it to stay on there instead of dealing with beads. And down the center of the O, I think it's some kind of a road stitch, you know, where you go, it's a specialty stitch, but basically, you know, when you do a cross stitch and you do your half, well, then you just keep doing another half, another half, another half, and you go around in a circle till you come back again. I think it was some kind of a rhodes over 6 threads, I think. And in her Patty's finished piece, she had buttons there. And then I didn't do all the little things that she did, but I put in the date. And here, I'm going to put a needle when I finish it. An actual needle. And yeah, I had some counting errors here. The letters should have been a little longer, but I think it's sweet and it looks great. So I got another finish. So that is my third finish this month in Maynia. I don't expect to have any more. But you never know the way this month is going. So that was great, and I was happy to do that. Or happy to get that finished, rather. Now, May the 13th was supposed to be dark 13 stitching, and I was supposed to work on this Halloween butterfly, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, and this is where things start to unravel a bit. I'm not doing that, and work wasn't great the night before, and all I wanted to do was sleep. And then the same thing kind of happened on May the 14th. I was supposed to get out Yule Queen, and I do love her. And it's not about not being in the mood for Christmas or anything like that. Because work wasn't great again, I just like did not want to deal with, I just wanted to kind of hibernate in my room, maybe watch some Flosstube, and, you know, I didn't want to stitch. I didn't feel like it. I was thinking one of these days I'm going to do a stitch with me, and I'm just going to talk about my job, and you're all going to be like, one person does that? One person does that. Yes. One person does that. So, yeah. So I lost my stitchy bug there for a couple of days. And but normally though, like in a regular month where there's no Maynia stuff, I don't always stitch on the days that I work, because sometimes I just want to be a vegetable when I come home. I don't want to have to think about anything. And so some days I don't stitch, and then other days I need to stitch. So, May the 15th was a new start date because, hurrah, it was a day off. And this was Jane Marshall. Jane Marshall. Hello, Jane Marshall. Now, this is on 40 count because, as you all know, hashtag 40 count diva. And this is, oh my Lord, guys, this is the cutest little thing. I will put in a picture so you can see. I don't have my neat little board with me. Now this is sand. The color is sand, and it looks like the model in the picture. And this is what I've got done so far. Maybe this is better. I'm not very good at setting up my lights and everything. But that's 40 count. I got a good start there. I'm using the called fors, I think, except for one or two. I'm not putting, oh yeah, I'm not, there was this gray, this dark gray color. I'll show you them. I don't have them on floss drops because that's life. This is going to be a hot mess video. Anyways, I didn't like these colors on this fabric, so they're not going in. No, it was a brown color, not a pink color. Anyways, it's all good. This is fun. This is not a difficult sampler at all, even on 40 count. It'll take no time to do. And this is one of the things that's like I've been a little, I don't know, depressed. I don't know, like I have all these plans and these starts for Maynia, and then I can't work on them, you know, because I have to leave them and move on to something else. Anyways, I know I'm being silly. Okay, May the 16th was another day off. Hurrah! And this was Log Cabin. Bouquet Sampler. This is a Brightneedle. Did you hear that Brightneedle are designing again? Very exciting. So I was really in my groove working on this, I gotta say. I'm doing this on raw. It's 36 raw. Every time I say that, I want to laugh. I don't know why, but raw, raw, raw. And this is just a floss toss. I'm just using colors that I like. Here we go. So I'm using a variegated threadwork green up here. And then down here, this is another threadworks I'm using. So that should take no time to do. That's another one. It should take no time to do. 36 count, raw, natural linen, whatever you want to call it. So that was fun. No, I think about it all the time. May the 17th. So May the 17th, that would have been a Sunday. And that, of course, Sunday were my free choice days. And what did I do on my free choice day? I worked a little bit on my Sal, my Quaker, my Scotland Mystery Quaker that Tempting Tangles is doing. There's a Facebook group. Part 5 came out. This is on Fog. Picture this plus. This is 2/2. And here at the bottom, where you see that red, that's the start of a motif where it's a crown. And that's another thing I have to get back to because another part is coming out and I don't want to get behind. I want to keep up with it. Actually, I think I'm going to have to hunker down and get caught up. These people who post on Facebook that are doing this project, it's like the pattern will come out in the morning. The new part comes out in the morning. So I see it when I go home in the morning from work, and then when I come back that night to work, they have finished it and they've posted a picture that they finished it. And I'm like, you don't get extra points if you do it in the same day it was released. Anyway, so anyways, they're keen. I'm happy for them. Okay, now, this Snowball was playing with something. Another thing I went back and worked on was Eliza Poole. Eliza Poole, Stacey Nash. I wanted to work a little more on her house. This is on ale. Picture this plus ale. It's 28 count. And I am doing this 1/1 because I'm insane. I started a bit of the grass here. I did another flower. And the house is coming along. And I really like it since I changed the, I made the white more vibrant. I think that's 7/12. It was supposed to be parchment, but the parchment wasn't popping off that fabric. And then what else have I been doing? Well, I work a little bit on Mary Clayton all the time because I'm trying to get her done. This month, Mary Clayton. She kind of has a free pass whenever I feel like working on her. I've been working on her. Now, oh yes. Cue the somber music. A year ago in June, I started At the Met by Mirabilia. This was my birthday start last year. This was my 50th birthday start. So it was a special start. And I have been struggling with this piece from the get-go. It's been about a year since I really got back into stitching again. And when I got the fabric, I got a 28 count. And I went with a color that matched the background of the fabric. I was so taken with her and how, to me, she looked like, if you think of Art Deco, of art from the 20s, of women, and also Downton Abbey and Mary Crawley. I mean, that is Mary freaking Crawley. Hello. And, you know, I was besotted with this pattern, but from the get-go, I was having trouble stitching the black. The DMC, and this is when I found out DMC 310 kind of sucked. And then I was using Sulky, and one strand of Sulky 12 weight was not enough, so I was doing 2. So I was ripping out the 3. Anyways, it was like, and I never wanted to work on it. Never wanted to work on it. This past January, I tried to do some kind of a semi-sane stitcher thing, challenge, and I tried to stitch on it 4 hours a week, and I did it for the month of January, but I still felt at the end of the month that this was a slog. This was not fun. This was not enjoyable. And what the hell am I going to do? And what did I do with it? Oh, it's here. So this is what I've done so far. And it is beautiful, guys. And I mean, it is beautiful, but I was never really enjoying myself. So I think Michelle Oncosier was talking. She has a piece like this too, and she's like, is she going to restart? Is she just going to continue? And I'm thinking, like, if I really was happy with how it was stitching up, I probably would have finished it by now. And why am I doing this to myself? Like, it's supposed to be enjoyable. And I think that's kind of the conclusion she came to as well. And I was reading comments too that people left on that Flosstube, and I'm like, yo, why am I doing this? Why am I suffering? This is not supposed to be a hardship. This is supposed to be enjoyable. And this was supposed to, like, commemorate my 50th birthday. So, you know, no. So, the other day when I was at my L&S, because it's open again, mask and all, because I'm a responsible citizen, I walked up to the fabric counter and I said, show me your Picture This Plus. So I decided to go to a 32 count. And if it's Picture This Plus, I always find the weave is a little tighter, even if it's linen. So when I got to do all that freaking black, I figure the coverage is going to be way better. So this is the wrong. Yes. They had a piece of Haunted there. And quite frankly, when I was in the store, I wasn't really thinking, oh, I'm going to get my fabric for my Mirabilia today. But I said, let's see what you have here today in Picture This Plus. And they had a piece of Haunted. And it was like a fat quarter size. So that means it was big enough on 32 count to do at that. Now it's linen, so it's going to be a little darker than the Lugana version of Haunted. But y'all, I think this is going to work. And I'm already, my mood is completely changed about this piece. All I want to do is stitch on this piece. And I got this freaking Maynia lineup that it's like, why did I book myself like this in May? Why? Wellington is saying the same thing. Why, right, Wellington? Yeah, he's like, what the hell? Anyways, so I'm doing it on Nocturne now. And already I'm much happier with it. Now, once the beads and all that get put in here, I think, you know, it's just going to pop. And I purposely, you know, because the way the modeling is of this fabric, I chose this part specifically so her face is going to be here where it's lighter. Her face is going to come here, then her shoulders, and then the dress. So where it's darker, the dress is going to be. So I think that's just, I know that's kind of hard to see, but, oh, here comes Wellington again. Yeah. And as it turns out, if you do hashtag at the Met, you will see like all the different, like people have used a lot of different colored backgrounds for this piece. And there is another stitcher out there who is using Nocturne. So that was kind of cool. Very cool. She's really happy with how her piece is turning out on the Nocturne. And, you know, I am too. So far, so good. So we just got to get back to this girl and get this Mary Crowley done. So yeah, so that was great. So that made me feel better. Now that was supposed to be on Monday, but I really only stitched it on Thursday on my day off. Yeah, this is the week where everything fell apart. Monday the 18th was supposed to be at the Met. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. No interest whatsoever. The 19th, Peacock Cipher. The 20th, Mary Clayton. I have worked on Mary Clayton some, and I just worked on her a bit again today. And of course, my stitching has been a comedy of errors of late. Comedy of errors. Oh God, I don't even know if this is making, Flosstube is making any sense, but maybe you're getting a few laughs out of it. So I did this, and the green here is not the same green here. And I said, does that matter? And I'm like, yeah, I think it's going to matter. And somebody popped up in my feed on Instagram. And for these flowers down here, they did darker colors, and then it made them look like geraniums. I like that. Anywho, so I think I just might say I'm just going to dedicate the rest of May to Mary Clayton because I got to get it done. And the more I think about it, I keep wanting to change things. And I'm never going to finish her, and that's just, yeah. So the 21st was supposed to be a new start. I didn't do that. I just restarted at the Met. Then this Saturday, Friday and Saturday, it was supposed to be me pulling out these old WIPs that I have of these cross-stitch ornaments. Didn't happen either. I've kind of come to the realization that if I'm going to go back and work on a WIP that I haven't worked on in a while, and it's a work day, I don't have the energy to sit there and just figure it out. So I'm going to need to take a day that I'm not working, and then I can dedicate, you know, good solid time to it to get myself back on track. And so this brings me to today, which is the 24th, my free choice. And like I've said, Mary Clayton, Mary Clayton, Mary Clayton. Now, exciting stuff that's happened in the last 2 weeks. Like I said, I was able to go back to my local needlework shop because you can in Moncton. They're open again. And they only really want 2 people going in at a time, and you're encouraged to wear a mask. They, you know, they had a little setup at the front with sanitizer and gloves, but really, I think I wore gloves at one point when I was looking at charts, but when it came time to like pull DMC and stuff, I just had them do it for me. And yeah, so it was great. So I got that fat quarter of Haunted, and because I'm trying to follow the laws, even though I suck at Maynia, I did pick up, are you ready? Are you ready? Oh, joyous day. It was a joyous day when the LNS was open again. Yeah, so I got this Blackbird Designs, and I really love this chart. And that's the one they based their sampler on. Color scheme, very different. This is from 1761. And this is their version, and I think it was kind of done as a wedding sampler for one of the girls' sons. So that was very exciting. And then what else? Oh, I got a whole whack of DMC because I'm doing anaphora screw, and that is like over 100 skeins of DMC. Yeah, I've got like a whole bag. I'm not like look. Woo! And for the first time, I found thread drops at my LNS. So that was very exciting too. So that was cool. I got those. I got the chart and I got the fabric. And then I had placed an order with Shelly at Creative Quarters out in Vernon, BC, and I had to get these. I had to get these. Summer, autumn, and winter. Blackbird Designs, and I am going to do them all together on one piece like it is on the back here. And there's some other, I really like that tulip motif. I'm not so keen on that bird. These ones are very sweet too. I like that bird better. And then that sampler is really sweet. And then there's a drum. So that was very exciting. And then I got some threads from Shelly too. I thought they were in here. Essentially, I ordered some of the colors that were in these, like Manna Red, Wild Berries, Maple Syrup, some of the colors that show up in all 3 of the patterns, just to start building a stash there. And, you know, yeah, so check out Shelly Creative Quarters. You can find her on Facebook. You can do a search. I usually put her information down below. And then, like I said, I've been kind of having, I don't know if it's work is crappy so much. It's just, I think some of the residents, they're deteriorating. And so their behaviors are becoming more extreme. And they don't sleep well at night. And if they're awake, it's kind of like dominoes. If one domino falls over, then a whole bunch start falling over. Well, it's kind of like if one resident wakes up and makes a lot of noise, and that can wake up another resident, and then they make noise, can wake up another resident. So that kind of thing has been happening. And when you're one person on a wing, you know, you're already juggling a bazillion things. And then, you know, unfortunately, you have these residents who can't settle. And, you know, some nights you cannot settle them. They're just, and it has to do with their disease process. And that's just the way it is sometimes. So sometimes when I come home, it's like, I just want to be alone. So when I was having one of these dark, gloomy days, well, I was feeling pretty low. I got some Stitchy Kindness mail, and I was like, very excited. I was like, what? And I'm like, who is this person sending me mail? And how the hell did they get my address? That was my first thought. That was my first thought. And I'm like, who the hell? Anyway, so, and I usually only check my mailbox when I go to work at night. So this is like, you know, 20 after 10 at night when I go to my car, I check my mailbox. And there was this envelope in there, and I'm like, because I'm expecting fabric from XJU Designs. It's in Canada. It's just having a hard time getting to me in New Brunswick for whatever reason. It's okay. But, and I'm like, who is sending me? So I opened it up, and it was a project bag, and I'm like, what? It was a project bag. Isn't this beautiful fabric? It's kind of an Asian inspired fabric, and this is a nice little fobby thingy here. And inside, well, of course, you always got to get a pack of tea. So there was tea. There were some thread drops with a project tag, which was really cute. And then there was a scissor fob. Oh, come on now. No, turn. And then there was is it a thread keep? I don't even know the lingo, but I got one. Look at this. There's a heart, charm. It looks like a little stitch piece, but I don't know if it really is stitched or not. Very sweet. And then there was another little envelope of what I'm calling ephemera. It was some like ribbon and buttons. Well, buttons. The brightly colored buttons. And hello, Cherub. And it came from this woman, Stitch Toolbox, Anna Collado. And she's in Quebec. And I'm like, who the hell? Who the hell is sending me stuff from Quebec? And then I'm like, oh, there's a card. There's a card. Will the mystery be solved at last? To Julia from Maggie. My stitchy bestie in Toronto. We're doing light together. Barbara Anna Designs, light. Fox in a dress style, people. So this gorgeous card. And in its side it said, Happy Maynia girl. Thanks for taking care of others during these trying times. So I proceeded to have a little slight meltdown in my car. While I drove to work, you know. I called my mother and I'm like, Mom, stitchy kindness, stitchy kindness. And I got so excited. And anyway, so thank you so much, Maggie. Oh my God, it came at the right time. And you know, people always say this all the time. You know, I'll be watching these Flosstubes and people are like, when I was having my darkest day, I went to my mailbox and there was stitchy kindness. And it's true, it does happen. It's happened to me. And I'm like, I can't. So thank you so much, Maggie, for thinking of me. And yeah, and for the card and for the kind words. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so that was super cool. So I think I told you, I just feel like this was one big rambling hot mess. So I think Stitchmania is over for me. I'm done. I want to stitch what I want to stitch now. I think if I do it next year, I might do smalls. If I do it next year, I'll just do smalls. Because I've started these big projects and I want to get back to them. And it's frustrating. It's like, you know, and or plan it a different way so I can have more days dedicated to these projects. You know, I tried to give myself some time so I could go back to things, but it hasn't been enough. It hasn't been enough. So I've learned something. Do you like my lockdown hairdo? Woohoo! I cannot wait till my hairdresser calls me and says, Julia, you're up. But I think I really want to get my feet done first. That's kind of like a, yeah, that would be better for all of humanity if I could get my feet done first. So, upcoming plans, get back to Mary Clayton, finish her. I got to get back to that Quaker, my mystery Quaker, and we'll see how it goes. I'm off tomorrow. See, I just want to stitch on Mary Crawley now. I'm going to start working on that skin. 1/1. Yeah, so I've got plans. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all taking care of yourself. I hope you're being smart, responsible citizens of the world and you're wearing a mask when you go out. Remember, the mask is not about you, it's about others. And just being mindful of that and reduce your exposure to other people out there. I'm really concerned about a second wave and what that's going to be like. I have decided that I'm not going to Portland now for the cross stitch retreat that Acorns and Threads were putting on at the end of September. That would involve flying on a plane right now, and right now there is no international travel going on from Canada unless it's essential travel. So number one, I probably wouldn't be able to fly down there, but number two, I really don't want to be getting on a plane right now, and number three, I think I'm just going to stay close to home until we get a vaccine in place. And so that's sad. That was a bit of a downer, and missing out on Beth Twist and Paulette Stewart. But there will be other opportunities in my future. So, you know, it's just, I'm not even going to get on a plane to travel in Canada right now. So there you go. That's just how I see things from where I am. So I hope you're all well. I hope you're all taking care of yourselves. I hope you're stitching. And here comes Welly. And they've actually been quite good during this Flosstube. Surprise, surprise. As soon as I turn this off, all hell is going to break loose again. So take care. Be safe. Be well. And then until next time, take care.